Thank you to all the presenters. A round of applause for everyone. And now we open the floor for questions, comments, reflections.
You're all amazing.
Do we?
Can we turn the projector on?
Yes. Questions? Comments? Parents? No questions?
Is it possible to apply cultural study theory or critique to a phenomenon that these kids are studying in a manner other than Marxist?
Yes. I mean, and a lot of people here use post-colonial theory to use feminism. Some of them use Marxism. Some of them use critical race theory. Some of them use media studies. The thing about cultural studies is that it doesn't really, it's not necessarily committed to one theoretical framework, because the interest is to actually combine different theories. I mean, of course, critical radical theories, not conservative theories, right? That's kind of that has been one of its commitments from its emergence of post-colonialism. So it combines theories, but what brings, so it combines theories, it engages all kinds of topics, as you see, but what brings everything together is the commitment to producing useful knowledge, productive knowledge that people would then take and do something with to create a better social world.
So is it safe to say that conservative knowledge is not useful? Radical knowledge is useful?
Not in cultural studies. Not in cultural studies.
Sorry to hear that. I said, sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I have a question for Christina, and forgive me ahead of time because you might have said this, but I might have missed it. Did you say that there are no more mass games?
It's not that they've canceled them, it's that the current theme, it's over. So like, since 1946 when the mass games started, they've had several different themes that would play for several years. And so the current theme that I showed in the video was a theme that they've been running from 2002 to 2013. And so when the mass games do come back, it'll be a new theme, but they haven't announced when that will be yet.
And do you have ideas about why there's been a change of theme? Is that because there's a change of leadership, or do you know anything about that process?
I don't think leadership has anything to do with it. In 2013 was the 60th anniversary of the end of the Korean War, which I believe that's the biggest reason that they ended that theme. So, yeah, I don't think, leadership doesn't have anything to do with it. They are doing repairs to the stadium they perform in, so I think there will be more information available once repairs are finished.
Congratulations to everybody. I have a question for Elise. I'm wondering how Detroit has reacted to the book. How people in the city, how the media, how people who study photography and study Detroit have reacted to how it's been described as this uplifting image of Detroit.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, I can't like speak for everybody. I think that there's a general sort of like people are tired of the same representation because it's for people in Detroit, I think that it's really boring to see pictures of the same abandoned buildings all the time. And I don't know, I mean, for that book in general, I know that certain local bookstores like won't sell it. So I think generally negative, although not completely negative as far as like Metro Detroit, because I do think that probably certain like there's people in the suburbs that would buy it. Like there's certain like stores like the Detroit shop that sells Detroit like merchandise, but it sells it like out in the suburb, and I think that they would probably do things like that. There's other similar books that do sell for sure. It's a really expensive photography book, so it's not a casual purchase, but I think generally negative.
I'd like to ask Ms. Reynolds, you made a point in your discussion about mass media and social media as an anti-narrative to some of the misdirection of information. Do you see that continuing to be a struggle, or how do you see that evolving?
Can someone repeat that for me? Can you repeat that for me?
You mentioned that...
like mass media, social media, yes.
Yes, and then social media actually presenting our counter argument. How do you see that evolving as we move forward and social media continue to grow?
I'm not quite sure that mass media has entirely changed because I feel like it often co-ops social media and the narratives that are on social media. Because we've seen a lot of activists from Ferguson, Missouri, and CNN, and they sort of use them in their role to talk about like what Black Lives Matter people are doing, but not actually changing anything. So it's another tool of like, here's this thing, but we're not providing any context for it. And so it's sort of like, it's a little bit, it's strange, but it's not, it's pretty common of just like, okay, this is being talked about. So social media often does get co-opted by journalists who are on Twitter, Facebook. People will take, for example, the group that I'm in, when we church genocide, people will take things that we've said to write articles. Things that are like our personal narratives to write articles. And so I been wondering how we can effectively use social media when people are still being disempowered by social media, and also considering the people who are on the ground being impacted and not having access to social media. And so there is a difference between people who have that access and then those who don't have that access, whose stories that we still need to be told. Whose stories still need to be told.
Any final questions?
I have a question for Kristen. I was wondering, when you were in Thailand in Bangkok, did you notice any ways that the prevalence of Theravada Buddhism interacted with that culture of prostitution?
Yes. So I actually have a large portion of my project dedicated specifically to that. And when I was in Thailand, I did take a course that focused on studying Theravada Buddhism. But Theravada Buddhism is inherently patriarchal in that, first of all, the king of Thailand is the supreme patriarch, and he's the keeper of Buddhism. Women's place within Theravada Buddhism is that a woman was born within karma. Her karma was not high enough to be reborn as a man. So women can live their lives in the hopes of being reborn as a man and the hopes of being reborn in a superior position in society. And also in regards to the Sangha, which is the community of monks, women are not allowed to be ordained as a monk. They can be ordained as a nun, but they have a saying that I don't know exactly how the saying goes, but essentially that a nun who's been a nun for 80 years still has to bow at the feet of a boy who's been a monk for one day. So I think that inherently women's place within Theravada Buddhism, which is very dominant in Thailand, is that of inferiority, which kind of limits their choices. But at the same time, Buddhism doesn't demonize sex or sex work in the same way that Puritan societies do. like, it's just, the only sin would be to have, like, to commit adultery, but other than that, sex isn't demonized, and also sex work, if the workers contribute money to the monks, they can, like, earn merit that way, so I think it's supported by that.
Great. Thank you so much. Another round of applause.